In such a heavily saturated video game genre as the online multiplayer shooter, your game needs to stand out in order to have a chance to compete. Unless you're an already established franchise like Call of Duty, Halo, or Battlefield, it must have something unique that sets itself apart from the rest, and give players a reason to invest days and months, and hopefully years worth of time into the game. Some games like Overwatch and PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds have successfully carved their legacy into the multiplayer scene, while others like Lawbreakers and Radical Heights failed to attract an audience and faded into obscurity. Overwatch brought the hero shooter genre to the forefront, introducing characters with their own unique style of play and class-based roles that complement the team-based nature of multiplayer shooters, while PUBG created an entire battle royale genre by reworking the deathmatch element into the last man standing formula we all know and love today. On the other hand, Lawbreakers took the hero shooter elements of Overwatch and incorporated zero-gravity arenas, but lacked the colorful characters that made the former so beloved. And while the 80s game show inspired aesthetic of Radical Heights was initially charming, the copy-paste shooting mechanics from PUBG and Fortnite, and the unpolished nature of its extreme early access, proved that it only served to try and pluck at the nostalgic heartstrings. Both of these games, which were coincidentally from Cliff Bleszinski's Boss Key Productions, weren't made to shake up the formula, but with the purpose of attracting those player bases based on popularity and gameplay similarities without any real effort placed into distinguishing themselves from the rest. As a result, it proved that simply chasing trends isn't always in your favor, and ultimately led to the closure of Boss Key in 2018. However, it doesn't necessarily mean that multiplayer shooters have to be completely original, and they most certainly can take inspiration from previous shooters as long as they incorporate these mechanics in a way that makes the experience feel fresh. The biggest example is Apex Legends, a battle royale that blends the fundamentals of PUBG and hero shooter elements of Overwatch with its titular legends, but injected its own personality with the rich sci-fi setting and fast-paced mobility of the Titanfall franchise, and a welcome smart comms method in the form of the ping system. Furthermore, Respawn Entertainment took nearly 2 years to develop and polish Apex Legends, rather than hastily throwing it together and releasing it in early access, like Boss Key did with Radical Heights. So, if, in some sort of alternate universe, the developers of Radical Heights had taken that same strategy, maybe the game would have been supported for years, and we would be talking about it in a more favorable light. But we're not here to talk about Radical Heights or Apex Legends. Maybe later down the line. I don't know. Anyways, where was I? Oh, yeah. So when Rocket Arena was reintroduced to the gaming public during this year's EA virtual press conference in lieu of E3, the game intrigued me for the same reasons that Apex Legends intrigued me. It sought to blend together the gameplay of arena shooters of the 90s and early 2000s with launch pads, power-ups, and a greater emphasis on rocket launchers, a colorful cast of characters with varying playstyles and unique abilities similar to Overwatch, and the blast meter, combos, dodging, and ring-out mechanics of Super Smash Bros. Of all things. Furthermore, the CEO of Final Strike Games, Kevin Franklin, previously worked on the multiplayer for Halo 4, Halo 5 Guardians, and the 2016 reboot of Doom, so the developers clearly understand how to craft an exciting and fast-paced multiplayer experience. Combining this with a vibrant visual style that was aesthetically pleasing, characters that were charming in their design, quality of life features like a respawn system that lets you scout the entire map, and the developers promising to support the game with new seasons worth of content, Rocket Arena seemed to have a winning formula on all cylinders. However, the one thing that left a bad impression on gamers before the game was even released was the price. Specifically $30 for the standard edition and $40 for the deluxe edition. Now that price point may not be as absurd as what is being charged for next gen games, but when you take a look at the current gaming landscape and compare the prices of other multiplayer shooters on the market, it might be considered a tall order for those wanting to play Rocket Arena. Furthermore, the free-to-play model for multiplayer games has time and time again proven to be successful in attracting players to their games, especially those who play casually, since they aren't required to shell some money in order to determine whether they will enjoy the game after they try it out. The model has also succeeded financially, as the large influx of players and those who decide to stick with the game months or even years after its initial release are more willing to purchase additional content, such as cosmetics or seasonal battle passes, whether it be because they look cool or want to support the game's future growth and development. Some of the most popular online multiplayer shooters on the market have either adopted the free-to-play model since their release or transitioned to the free-to-play model later down the line. Fortnite, Apex Legends, Call of Duty Warzone, Valorant, and others were free right out of the gate, while games like Team Fortress 2 and Counter-Strike became free to play to give opportunities for new players to join a growing community. Earlier this year, Bungie ended its 10-year contract with Activision early and bought back the Destiny IP so they could re-release it for free and continue to support the game with new expansions rather than making unnecessary sequels. On the flip side, while developers are more certainly in their right to sell their online multiplayer shooter at a premium price, there needs to be content that is substantial enough to justify those prices. For example, every Call of Duty entry has remained a premium experience because of a single-player story-driven campaign and a zombies/survival mode in addition to the multiplayer, giving players the opportunity to play however they want. Within the multiplayer suite, game modes range from Standard Team Deathmatch, Coin Rush, Hardpoint, and Rocket Ball, and although each of them are fun in their own right, there isn't enough variety to warrant extended hours of play. Outside of the competitive multiplayer, the only additional mode is a bare-bones horde mode against AI bots, which barely merits any playtime or mention within this video essay. In terms of monetization, the game incorporates a seasonal battle pass with the usual 100 tiers of unlockable content, an in-game shop for character customization and cosmetics. In my personal opinion, battle passes are a great way to earn new content and encourage you to keep coming back to the game to unlock these tiers at your own pace. However, with so many live service titles vying for your attention with battle passes of their own, figuring out whether a certain game's battle pass is worth progressing through can be tricky. In the case of Rocket Arena, the progression is rather slow, and given how repetitive this game can get after multiple matches, the battle pass doesn't seem all that worth it in the end, especially since it's an additional purchase. Yet, the inclusion of the in-game shop is possibly the most questionable part of the monetization. While the ability to purchase cosmetics with the in-game currency you earn through playing matches is welcome and very consumer-friendly, you can also buy them with premium currency as well. Having these two methods of payment isn't necessarily a bad thing, but they feel incredibly out of place given the fact that you had to pay $30 to play this game in the first place. The incorporation of premium currency to purchase cosmetics makes sense within a free-to-play game, but having to pay extra when you have already purchased a game that is considerably lacking in launch content feels cheap and misguided, even with the option to use earnable in-game currency. As a result, this monetization further proves that the developer's decision to charge $30 to play a Rocket Arena instead of going free-to-play was an incredibly missed opportunity. If it weren't for the fact that the deluxe version of this game was discounted down to $10 2 weeks after its July 2020 release, I would have never bought Rocket Arena. Given how publisher Electronic Arts had abandoned all marketing for the game since its release, this sudden drop in price felt odd, and these suspicions were confirmed soon enough when it became difficult to find matches without enabling crossplay. During the midpoint of Season 1, the developers removed the game's ranked playlist so they wouldn't fracture the player base and ensure that players found matches as quickly as possible. Simply put, the audience for this game was incredibly scarce. To be fair, I think Rocket Arena is an incredibly fun game, and I applaud how the developers innovated upon the arena shooter genre by mixing together hero shooter elements, blast meter and ring out mechanics reminiscent of Smash Bros., and an aesthetic involving all things rockets. Each character feels incredibly balanced, the arenas are well designed, and the rewards given to you for simply playing promised longevity. But admittedly, my enjoyment with the game only lasted a month, and the experience was marred by repetitive gameplay, sluggish progression, and players who went so far as to close the game or turn off their console in order to rage quit. As a result, the game's $30 price tag is understandably too much to ask from someone who is hesitant to try it out, and unfortunately the lack of content doesn't justify that premium cost. It's a shame, because Rocket Arena is unique enough to stand amongst the giants of the multiplayer shooter market like Apex Legends and Call of Duty. However, no matter how innovative your game is, it will fall into obscurity without an audience to play and support it. The game has tried to find a second life through various free offerings. First as a free giveaway for Prime Gaming members back in October, and again as this month's free giveaway for PlayStation Plus members. Although this will undoubtedly encourage more players to give this game a try, only time will tell if players will stick around or quickly abandon the game. Nevertheless, the decision to charge $30 for Rocket Arena, an online-only multiplayer shooter, instead of the free-to-play route that many have adopted, left the game dead on arrival, and ultimately became a missed opportunity.
Opponents won.
Hey y'all, Alistar here. Thank you so much for watching this video essay on Rocket Arena. So much time and effort went into writing, recording, and editing this in-depth critical analysis, and I hope you look forward to more video essays like these in the near future. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you are already subscribed, make sure to ring that notification bell so you're updated whenever future videos go live. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will catch you guys next time. Janet!